budget.
Out of my budget.
Is it expensive?
How much is it?
How much is it?
What do they eat?
Do they have vegan options?
I don't know. I can't eat what they eat over there.
What is there to do there?
Man, I heard that place is boring.
I heard that place is boring.
Is it even safe over there?
Is it even safe
Is that
over
place
there?
even safe?
But is it safe for
Is it even
single
safe
women?
over there? You know they been killing people.
What should I pack?
I don't know.
I heard the rooms are small and they don't even have AC.
I don't know where to begin to plan a trip.
Is there a language barrier?
Man, I don't know.
Hi, this is Ashley from Pittsburgh, and this next episode is on Martinique.
So up next we have Martinique, France in the Caribbean. Martinique is a French territory, so it's considered part of the European Union, which means the official currency of the island is the euro. The inhabitants of the island are French citizens, so they do have all political and voting rights. Most inhabitants speak French or Creole. The American travel season is the most expensive time to visit, but you can save a lot of money if you visit during the spring or the fall, which is what I typically do anyway. My recommendation would be late spring, so you can catch hotels between the winter and summer rush, and you can find a lot of good deals that way. You also get ahead of hurricane season. So why should you choose this as your next Caribbean destination? One, the high is pretty much 80 year-round. Martinique poses a blend of different cultures in a Caribbean setting. You have diverse Creole cuisine with African and European influences, natural waterfalls, rivers, diving, snorkeling, kite surfing. Everything is available on this island. Just a myriad of activities in a pretty much unblemished setting. By unblemished, I mean they see a fraction of the tourism of the Big Five in the Caribbean. The Big Five being Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the Bahamas. From my experience, sometimes when you stray off the beaten path, a lot of times you run into a lot of great natural experiences, and a lot of natural treasures, especially before everyone finds out where it is and mess it up. Europe is one of my favorite places to visit, so to have it in the Caribbean or something similar, can't lose. I reached out to my friend Amber to discuss her experiences with the island of Martinique. Hopefully this interview can help you decide if Martinique should be your next destination. If you visit Martinique after seeing this video, please let us know, leave it in the comments, send us an email, or just tag us on IG. Hello, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you for showing up today.
Almost in. I'm here.
All right. So the biggest reason why I wanted to interview you is because I see you moving. And like I stated earlier, you have way more responsibilities than me. But yet you still end up all over the world, traveling, making it happen. So, and then the other part of it, I enjoy is not the word, but I look at the type of places that you pick. And I'm like, oh, hey, I see you. So, first of all, do people think you rich?
Yeah. Even people who work with me and make more than me are like, "How you balling? You balling? No, balling on a budget. That's about it right there."
Yeah, people think I'm balling. Once people see some of these videos that I put out, they'll see kind of the work, I guess, that I really do, so people can stop that assumption that I'm balling like that. But so how did you? So of course, this episode is Martinique,
Woo, my favorite place.
basically France in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I'm all for. I love Europe. I love France. So to have it in the Caribbean is a two-pointer for me. So how did you get there?
Norwegian. They had a flight sale, so I happened to actually to go back when I was in school. When I was in college, my French teacher he always used to talk about Martinique. That he did his PhD. The work for his PhD he did in Martinique. So he mentioned it like a couple times. And for some reason, it popped up. And I was just like, oh, that's the place that I need to go to. Because the way he described it was so, so grand. And I just imagined open air markets and the breeze and all that stuff. So it popped up on Norwegian. They were having a sale. And it was $250 round trip. How could you not go?
Yeah.
So
One of the pages you follow came in my news feed, and
Secret flying.
yes,
Mhm.
that's one of them.
Mhm.
Is that how you found it, or was it another one?
I think I've flown Norwegian before. I think that they email me. So I have emails. I've signed up on different sites to receive emails, and then I signed up on Secret Flying on Facebook, so it pops up on my newsfeed when I first sign on. But it's just different ways. I look for the sale. Like I don't plan to go. I have one planned trip, which is to Ghana, which someday I'm gonna make that happen. But aside from that, I just wait for a sale, and then when I see something that I want, I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me let me
Gotcha.
book that." Yeah.
There's some where I'll set a goal and I'm like, but I'm gonna find a sale though.
Right.
So I'm still not paying full price for it. I haven't paid full price for a single trip yet.
I do not pay full price. So I was like, I
Yes.
can't afford it.
Did Martinique meet your expectations from what the professor told you and everything that had been built up when you got there? Did it meet your expectations?
Martinique exceeded my expectations. When I first got there, I was a little lost. I don't typically plan my vacations out. I just kind of I do a general, overlook, and then when I get there, I figure out what I want to do. So I'm
Gotcha.
one that needs to like be in the space and feel it, and see what I want, where I want to go from there. So I don't really plan and like do a lot of research. So I got there and it was hella expensive to get from the airport to where I was staying, but it was like $60. And the island is not that big. But yeah, it was $60 to get from the airport to where I was staying. But on the way there, I mentioned casually to the taxi driver that I was hungry, and he stopped at some place that I'm sure a lot of people go to. It wasn't like, this is what I love about it. It was just like a little shack, like just a little place, that was near the beach. Well, everything's near the beach in Martinique, but he pulled over and he told me what to get, and then he paid for it, and then
Oh,
he took me on, to my place, and my host was great. It was just like it exceeded my expectations because the people were way friendlier.
here's the thing. I know a lot of people when they do these trips, they go to hotels and to
Oh
resorts.
no.
And you miss out on all that. You miss out on the culture because you're sitting at the Hard Rock, sitting by a pool. You can sit at a pool back, at home. But when you going out and you're amongst the people, amongst the culture, you get to see so many different things. So there's certain places where I feel like maybe a hotel may be necessary in terms of safety. That's another thing where I feel like we kind of see eye to eye as far as those vacations being an experience and it's a learning experience as well.
Yeah.
So that's dope because there's people who may go there, go to a fancy hotel. I don't know if they have a lot of hotels.
They do.
Okay. So there are people who may go there, sit by the pool, take a bunch of Instagram pictures, but they didn't powwow with the people. They didn't sit at that restaurant.
That's something that I crave and something that I need. Any experience that anywhere that I go is so I can get to know the people. And there's very few places that I've been where I don't speak the language. That used to be one of my requirements. Like, oh, I need to know what to say. But now I feel comfortable enough to where I feel like I can go somewhere where I don't speak the language. But when I got there, it was just like so warm and friendly. Like I was saying before, when I was talking about looking for a deal, one of the things is Airbnb. Like I I'm used to going to resorts. Like all growing up, when we went on vacation, we went to resorts. And I remember when I was like 13 or 14, we went to Hawaii and we stayed on the resort. And we stayed on the resort. We were there for a week and we stayed on the resort for probably 5 out of 7 days. And then my dad was like, I want to go, I want to go out. I want to go
Yeah.
drive. So we drove around the little back streets and saw where actual Hawaiians. Not I don't think we were seeing, the where the imports stay. I think we was seeing where the real Hawaiians live. So it was like, it was a totally different experience. It wasn't glitz and glamour. But it felt like I felt connected more, even though that was the first time that I felt connected to the island. Like everything else was, oh, we're at the resort learning how to hula dance. Oh, we're watching them roast a pig. Like we're doing this stuff, but it was just doing stuff. It wasn't like I didn't feel anything. And that was when I was young. So like just going out and just seeing where people actually live, for some reason I've apparently always been connected to that as far as travel. So when I got to Martinique, well, when I was looking it up, trying to figure out where to stay, first off, the hotels are expensive for me. They're expensive. And when I do go, my parents have a timeshare. So whenever I travel, I'm used to not paying that much for where I stay. So when I was looking at hotels, I was like, this costs more than the flight. Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. So then I looked at Airbnb. Dude, my Airbnb was $9 a night.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was $63. So
Whoa.
I was like, yeah, sign me up. Thank you.
So real quick, with Airbnb, how many airlines are you signed up for as far as a reward program?
Well, so I fly domestically with my kids a lot. So I just do like Frontier and Spirit with them. And I know everybody hates them, but it works for me. And
As
then
long as you get there.
that's what I keep saying. As long as we take off and touch down, I'm fine. But Norwegian, I have a friend that works for Delta, so he hooks me up sometimes.
But do you
But
have Sky Miles?
no. See, that's the thing. So the very first trip that we took international, the very first trip that we took together, me, my kids, and my mom, she took them to Germany. That's what started like the for real like international travel bug. She took them to Germany for 6.5 weeks. And I had just started my job, so I didn't stay the whole time. But I went just to like drop them off basically, and I stayed for a week and a half. And I was just so in love with Germany. We got a bunch of Sky Miles for that, but I couldn't keep up with them. Like you have to do all this stuff to like, I'm lazy. So like, you have to do all this stuff to keep. At that time, I think now they don't expire, but back then you
I
had to
think it's
like do
24
stuff.
hours. I'm not 24. I'm sorry, 24 months.
Whatever it was. I couldn't keep up. And then like at one point they lost some of like one of my kids, they lost their Sky Miles because I was gonna combine them and like do something. I don't know what I was gonna do, but I was gonna do something. So I was aware of the fact that that's a valuable thing, but it just was like it for me, I couldn't keep up with them. It wasn't worth it.
The reason I was going to touch on that is doing an Airbnb, they're connected with Delta. So you can accrue Sky Miles for your visit.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that.
Okay, well, hook it up so you can
I'm
use it
still
next time.
lazy. I'm not gonna do it.
I got
I
you.
just gonna look for the deals.
So you went with someone or you went alone?
So, speaking of, so I always like I've learned from experience that I plan a trip for myself and then I invite other people. Whether or not they show up is on them. I used to plan trips for a group, like for my friends. They would back out at the last second.
Oh, I know
Every
them with.
motherfuckers.
Oh, there you go. I pulled it out of you. I probably should have kept my mouth shut.
You saw my hands. No, they would back out every time. And I was just like, oh my God. So I learned in college actually to just plan trips for myself and let people know this is where I'm going. If you want to go, you can. But if you don't, I mean,
But
no
that's
no
the
sweat off my
story.
back.
Everybody's story is that, when you start planning a trip, it start off with 20, hands raised, and then by the time day of, it's like 2, you know.
Yeah. And all year they're just like, oh my gosh, oh, this looks, oh, let me know next time. And in fact, the last time that I went to Martinique, 2 other people were supposed to go with me. They bought their flights and they just like had me hanging on for forever. I could have got my little $9 a night Airbnb, but I was waiting on them for so long
Yeah.
that I end up, they didn't have any openings, so I had to stay somewhere else. But that's been my experience ever since college is people. And then when I was in college, like I said, my parents have a timeshare, so it would cost us like they would pay for it. So basically it was free for a week. And people were like, oh yeah. And then last second they just, oh, I can't make it. I'm like, this is a free trip basically. How
Yeah.
can you not make it? So yeah, I've learned my lesson time and time again.
So basically you went by yourself. Either you went by yourself or you just don't want to talk about the person.
There is nobody. I go by myself. Most of the places that I go with the intention of meeting somebody, like making a new friend. And that's been my
That's dope.
experience every single time. I
So you
always
have a
meet
lot
someone.
of Facebook friends in different countries? Or?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to remember, did I meet someone in Japan? I didn't meet anyone in Japan, but I think all of the other trips that I've been on, even domestically, I've met someone, and we still.
Do you ever feel uncomfortable traveling solo as a woman? Because as a guy, I've been in situations abroad where it's like, you know, somewhat uncomfortable.
I feel like everyone else feels that way except for me, and I feel like I'm supposed to feel that way, but I don't, and I don't know why.
Do you take any precautions? Do you?
I don't, and I
Oh my!
should.
You're asking to get snatched up,
I
right?
know, but I haven't yet. So I'm like, let me just.
So yeah,
I'm
let's try it
having fun.
again.
Like,
Yeah,
why
let's keep
not?
going.
No, I've been in some situations where, like, while I'm in the situation, I'm like, if this was my child, I would be so mad. I would be so mad. And there's certain situations that I don't tell my parents about. Like after I get back, they ask, "How are you doing?" I don't say anything. I've been in some situations that always turn out fine, and maybe in my head, like the look of it is like this looks like a horror movie, but nothing bad happens. So in a way, it's like I can tell myself you shouldn't have done that, but in another way, I'm kind of like, well, maybe the world isn't as evil as you think it is. Of course, there's people out there who's going to do things, but should I let that get in the way of me having fun or being worried all the time? Is it can make you not want to go anywhere. And then every
Yeah.
time I say I'm going somewhere, it doesn't matter where it is. People are like, "Oh, you going by yourself? Oh, be careful. Oh, why are you going by yourself? Oh, be careful." Like just every time, just people saying that can make you not want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't do anything or move in a spirit of fear. That's not what God wants us to do. But I do believe you should be careful.
I think I should be
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
but I feel like you should
I'm
have.
not saying you should carry a gun on a plane,
I will not.
but I do
Just so
think,
you know, I'm not bringing a gun on the plane. Okay.
but that's where something like taking a hotel or Airbnb could be more of a safety precaution because you have people at the front desk, you have security in most cases, in some cases. Um, so yeah, we're gonna have to have a talk about that off.
You can talk all you want to. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah, you.
No, like I mean, even with a hotel, just think about that. Those people. I feel like a person whose house you're living in, and they're there. They're going to care more about your safety than someone in a hotel. Matter of fact, when I was in Martinique, my host told me. So I think that where I was staying was supposedly like the hood part of Martinique.
Wow, they have a hood.
I guess. I mean, there was still fruit growing on the trees, and there was still, an ocean breeze. So to me, it didn't feel
So
hood.
how did you recognize it as a? But Martinique in my head, I always just assumed it's just beach.
Well, it is. So, but even, what I came to find out later is that it's very expensive to live there.
Hmm.
So, like very expensive, and in some places are more expensive than others. But it's beach, but you can tell the parts that are like less populated and the parts that are more populated have like the big old buildings and all that stuff. So I learned that later on. But the reason that what started getting me thinking that it was hood was because my host she told me to be careful. She lives there, and she told me to be careful because guys might try to talk to me. They might try to take me out, and
That's probably a good thing, right?
they might try to offer me drugs.
Oh, that's the bad thing, right?
I was on vacation, so I don't know. I don't see it as a bad thing. I can do what I
Got
want.
you.
I was grown, I was by myself. My kids was at home. I do what I want. So, just the fact that she warned me about the area where she lives, I was like, oh, okay, so this must be. But I still like being by myself. Of course, I'm going places by myself. People literally took me by the hand and said, "Oh, is this where you need to go? Oh, let me show you what you need to do." Oh, they smiled and they spoke to me. One guy even, I mean, I spent more of the great experiences that I had were there in the quote unquote hood, versus, all the other places where I went where it was bustling and people were trying to get to where they wanted to
How
go to.
often did you make it to the beach?
See, I'm not a beach person. I'm not. I went to the beach. I ate on the beach. I was in the area, like it's right there.
So
Her
you
house
went
is
to a
right up
place
against the beach.
that's basically a big beach
No, yes.
to not go to the beach.
Yeah, because I'm not a beach person. And that's why this is my second Caribbean trip. And the first time I went to the Caribbean, well, Martinique is my second Caribbean destination. The first time I went to the Caribbean was in college. but I'm not a beach person. Like I don't want to put on my bathing suit and go sit in the water. I'm a people person, so I want to go and meet people wherever I am. So, like I said, the only reason I went even to Martinique, it wasn't like, oh, I want to go to these white sandy beaches. It was that someone mentioned it. It was in my head. So that was the reason that I went. And also, do you know in People Don't Dance No More that Big Gibb says like a beach in Martinique?
Oh,
I realized that when I got there, I'm like, oh, they've been putting this in my head for decades.
look at
That's
that.
why
Hey, Goody Mob has been teaching us for
Goody
years.
Mob to the
Trust,
rescue
trust your Goody
again.
Mob knowledge in all. Trust your Goody Mob knowledge in all things. So, so, and Dungeon Family will never let you down.
Hey, all the time.
So, it's basically France in the Caribbean,
Mhm.
and to me that sounds like a perfect combination. I love Europe and I love water, right? And that's the closest thing, I guess, combination, right, in the Caribbean. Was there a language barrier?
I speak a little enough. I call it survival French. I can speak enough French to live. There was they prefer Creole. So I have no clue. Like Creole sounds like French, and of course, because I didn't do my research. Well, I guess because they have an accent that to me it sounded like French, but I couldn't understand what people were saying. It was tripping me out. I was like, I know that I speak French, but I couldn't understand what people were saying. So eventually, I figured out they were speaking Creole. They prefer Creole, and then when people realized that I spoke French or English, then they would switch over. But because most people thought I was from there, they just start off rattling off Creole initially. So there was a tiny language barrier, but most of the people when I was there, most of the people spoke French to me. Like my host, oh my gosh, she talked so fast. She spoke French to me the entire time, and I could get the gist of I get the main idea of what she was trying to tell me.
Gotcha.
And then people I met, they spoke French to me,
So, did you have to exchange currency?
I did. It's the euro.
Did you exchange currency before going or when you got there?
This time I did it at the airport because I did read something where people were like, a lot of places don't take cards. A
Oh,
lot, yeah. And when I got there, a lot of places did not take cards. So I got it actually at the airport.
so what I've been doing lately, so I have a Charles Schwab checking card, and it's basically the best international card you can get. There's no exchange fees, there's no fees basically. So you can go anywhere abroad. And so what I would do is whenever I get there, just use the local ATM and just take out the cash. But I don't take out as much because I think I can just swipe my card. But I'm glad you brought that up because how many times have you been? Just once?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
What made you
I
want to go
never
back?
go to the same place twice.
Me neither. So no, the only place I've been to twice is Europe. Like European cities, so like Paris twice, London. Well, London is but close enough. So what made you go twice?
I just had such a good time.
Airbnb both times?
Yeah. The second one, it was a little bit more expensive. And the $9 a night is not typical. That was just something that I
Miracle.
just ran into. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is not typical, but so the second time I paid like a regular, I think it was like maybe $30 or $50 a night, something like that. Maybe probably $30 a night. But the reason I went back is because, like I said, I did meet someone while I was there, and like he's super cool. I had fun hanging out with him. It's Carnival. It's around the time of my birthday, so I always go somewhere every year for my birthday. So it was just like everything was just falling into place. And then, the awesome flight deal still existed back then. It doesn't exist anymore. Norwegian stopped flying there. So I don't know how I'm gonna get back. I'll figure that out.
We'll have a discussion, have a meeting of the minds. I think one of the biggest things that has helped me out as far as planning has been Airfare Watchdog and Google Flights.
Yo, I love Google Flights.
And Google Flights is sent from God. And that thing, that's how I said, I'm going to Cape Town. I remember I watched Black Panther and I said, I'm going to Africa. And it was trouble because I had like 6 vacations planned that year. So I was like, I don't know when or how, but I'm going. And I just remember Google Flights.
Yeah.
Like it helped me map it out and everything. So yeah, man, that's dope. You went twice. That says a lot about it. As far as
your travels, like I said, you have way more responsibility to me. Is that pretty much your process, just secret flying and finding mistake fares and deals and
Yeah, I actually have not done an airfare yet, but when I see them, it's like not to a place where I want to go, or I don't have a vacation planned, whatever. But or I don't have vacation time, I'll say. But it's mostly just looking for, or just I'll go check my email, and there's a
got you? So you have
deal.
all the newsletters and alerts coming in.
Yeah. Mostly now it's mostly been secret flying that pops up on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, they had like a 250, was it 250? A really cheap trip to Spain, to Barcelona, I think it was, or Madrid. And I was like, man, I could do that. I can't do it right now because I have some other stuff to take care of. But I mean, it's something like that where I'll be like 250, okay. And then my job is they're really lenient when it comes to vacation time. Like if I'm planning something far out,
That helps me out.
I just be like, hey, I really need this time off. And I've never had trouble getting vacation time.
Me neither.
I think that's a big part of me feeling free enough to just book something and, see what
Yeah,
happens.
the flexibility of my job definitely is probably the biggest reason I can do what I do. So it's not necessarily the money, it's the flexibility because a lot of flights are cheaper in the middle of the week
Yeah.
and I can leave on a Wednesday and go.
Yeah. That's
Everybody
the with
can't
me.
say that.
Yeah.
So I know for like people who probably have more rigid schedules like teachers and whatnot, can
Yeah.
only take but so many days and got fit within a box.
Yeah.
They may have a little bit more problems than I do as far as booking travel because I just do it and I just tell them later on like, hey, I'm going out of town. And if it's something, I got a laptop. If it's that serious, Wi-Fi everywhere,
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I like I said, I really wanted to talk to you because I see you going everywhere. You even doubling up on places. And I see it and I'm like, it's off the beat. Everyone else is going to Jamaica. You're going to Martinique.
Yeah.
I've never been to Jamaica and I probably never go to Jamaica just for the simple fact that everyone goes there.
Oh my God, that's
But-
the same way I feel.
Exactly. So I'm trying to go everywhere else
Yeah.
that nobody else is going
Yeah.
and have different experiences. If I want to experience it, I'll just look at your news feed.
We sound like travel snobs right now.
Hey, I am. I accept it. I accept it. It comes heavy as the crown. So thank you so much. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. Don't forget to subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment.